Hello, everybody. This is episode one of the BDE F1 podcast. Just three guys who love F1, who've always loved F1, and want to talk about it in maybe a more casual way. So I am Pushan. I'm here with my good friend Ian and Remy.
Hi.
I've been watching F1 since, I'd say, 94. My first memory of F1 was actually Imola, 94. My brother was watching F1. I was just kind of dicking around, and we saw the crash. And obviously, I didn't know what that meant. I actually thought at the time that F1 cars were huge, like plane size. Like, I didn't know, like, the helmet was the driver. Yeah, I thought, like, there was, like, people in there, like, multiple people in there.
You're like, what, 5 years old?
Yeah, I wasn't the sharpest kid, at that time, I think.
Still not.
Yeah. Some things never change, I guess. But I actually really started watching F1, I'd say, like, mid-90s, like, later, late 90s, like, 97, 98, when Schumacher went to, and when he made Ferrari a winning team, but not a championship contending team, and he was getting spanked. And when he lost the title to Villeneuve, I just remember watching that. I wasn't really into it. Like, we didn't have internet back then, and we didn't have like Reddit and all that cool like info we have now. But really, when I really started getting like obsessed with it, would probably be like 98, 99, when Hakkinen was just like I really enjoyed it. Although like I probably cried a lot because I was a big Schumi fan, still am, and I was a big Tifosi at the time. We'll get into that. I don't know if I'm not a Tifosi anymore, but like Ferrari is always special.
I don't know, man. I think 2019 is the year, so welcome.
The year to come back.
Yeah, man. The Tifosi's always got their arms open for more fans.
Mercedes is going to beat them, don't worry.
That's that's why we're here. We're going to talk about that. So what do? I'm a photographer. I actually wanted to become an aerodynamic engineer.
Really?
Yeah, I studied science in. So I'm French American. I studied science here in high school in order to get into engineering school, but then I kind of just changed last minute. I was like, I'm going to go more of a business route. And that's when I kind of like left F1 for a while. Then I came back into it, in university, but I ended up studying economics and politics and becoming a photographer out of all things. So I shoot food and travel, both editorial and commercial, but ultimately one of my dreams would be to follow this crazy F1 circus and take photos of F1, and maybe even if it's just a few times a year, if it could be every race, that'd be dope. But if not, then I'll take what I can get. I don't have a racing background, but my two buddies here do. So Ian, why don't you take it over?
Yeah. Hey guys, my name is Ian. I'm originally from California, and I'm living here in Paris. Been living here for about 5 years. One of the things that actually made me want to move to Europe was to be closer to racing, because coming from California, we have IndyCar, which is cool, but it's not quite, Formula One. And what I love is just the European tour. And really, one of my dreams would actually be to go around and follow the European part of the F1 season. So that would be kind of fun. Maybe that's something that we can do all together. We just have to save up a fuck ton of money for that.
Yes, if you're new to F1, it is not a cheap sport.
No, not at all. But if we could do something like that, we'll be bringing you guys content. We're making some videos. Pushan will be behind the lens, capturing everything. So you could see life as a hardcore F1 fan. And maybe that could develop into something more. Working within the F1 paddock would be pretty much a dream for me. I work in the most boring job ever. I do taxes for international clients, Americans living abroad, and so it's not quite as exciting as cars going 200 miles an hour.
Oh, dude, but you did help me out, so I appreciate it. Everyone needs taxes, man. Even F1,
If you need some tax advice, give me a shout.
I'm
happy to help you.
Haas team, a lot of Americans there.
There we go. So, anyways, I've been a Formula One fan since I was a kid. Basically, I'd say 2000. That's also when I started racing go-karts. I grew up racing go-karts. I kind of stopped when I was probably around my early 20s. But I focused more on car racing when I was around 15, 16. I won a scholarship for the Formula BMW series, and I did some of that. I did some Formula Renault. I did some testing in Formula 3 car. The goal was always Formula One. And so a lot of the decisions that I made were based on trying to get to that more of an international racing career. But as many other people will tell you, money dries up very, very quickly. It also didn't help that, the height of my racing career was in 2007, 2008, when the economic crisis really just hit.
Oh, shit.
So basically any kind of chance of sponsorship was just, out of the question. I I remember the specific day that I had to turn down the BMW scholarship because I couldn't afford the contract. Apparently, if I signed the contract for every race that I missed, it would be a $5,000 fine that I'd have to pay.
Wow, so you'd be liable for this.
So I'd be liable for that. So we couldn't sign for the BMW scholarship contract. So what we could do really is just we had to decline the scholarship, and then we had to kind of scrape the barrel to see how much money we can get to try and do some racing. So I wasn't able to do all the races.
And you had the same scholarship that Vettel got, right?
Yeah, Vettel won it, Hülkenberg won it, I think Ricardo won it for the Asia Series. A lot of drivers have won it.
Just goes to show you how freaking competitive it is to enter this.
Oh yeah.
Like for the driver is probably the most competitive spot, but like, for everything else as well, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, first it's a Formula One, and getting through the ladder system is it's a money game, but it's also being in the right place, right time. So, but with that being said, I've always loved motorsport, and I've always wanted to be involved one way or another. And I found myself in this career doing taxes, and it's not that interesting. And I'm here in Europe, and there's a big hub for motorsport, around here. So I feel this is a passion thing, there's a lot of fun. But if this could develop into something else, that'd be fun. Why not? So,
and that's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's cool because Pushan and I have really connected over the past year about loving F1, getting together and watching the races, kind of nerding out about things. And for this testing experience, I was introduced to Pushan's friend, who's always chatting with while we're watching a race, which is very special. Pushan doesn't do that with anyone else. But
Yeah.
Remy over here, he's from, I'll let you take it away, Remy.
Yeah, so my name is Remy, from Bermuda. Right now I work in the baking industry in St. Lucia, but I was studying economics and finance in Paris. That's where I met Pushan, American University in Paris, and was doing some racing before that as well. So I was karting around France, and then did Formula BMW license. And I had a few teams that wanted me to race, but didn't have the money, so I couldn't do it. Before that, I hadn't started karting. Well, there wasn't really a track in Bermuda, but I always loved driving. My parents taught me to drive when I was pretty young, so I would always go to like an open space and just race around. And then when I moved to Toulouse when I was about 16, that's when I started getting into it more. So we all came together and went to the Barcelona testing, which was amazing. It sort of happened last minute, and we'll tell you that story.
Really last minute, yeah. Especially for you, man.
Yeah.
So like one thing I really want to point out is that, as you said, I'm really particular about F1, as you've noticed, and like I don't like to talk to many people during F1. But you two are the only ones that I'll chat. I'll have like one window for Ian, one window for Remy, and it's always like, I'm talking to you, you're giving me links and stuff, you're giving me information, and then I'll be passing it over to Remy, and we're all in different, Remy's in different time zones, so we're always helping get like the stream, because F1 TV doesn't allow Remy to get a subscription there, so get your shit together.
Exactly.
You got fans all over the world, people.
We've been emailing you too, like, come on, open this up.
And you scare us with your VPN regulations, so make sure that's fixed soon. So so I was really happy to have you guys come together. So how this happened, like towards the end of the year, we were watching a lot of races at your place. Yeah. And it turned into dinner, it turned into drinks. Then, we ended up talking shit, mostly about Nico Rosberg. It always comes back to Nico Rosberg, ultimately. 2016, man, I'm still not over it. We did it! But we started brainstorming about going to F1 testing. I think it's something we want to do for a long time, right? Yeah.
Well, it's just, the thing is, it's so accessible for us living here in Paris. So it was just winter testing. We know that you can see a lot more action on the track. You can get a lot more closer to the cars. And it's a hop, skip, and a jump away from Paris. So we started talking about it towards the end of the F1 season in 2018. And Pushan, being the photographer that he is, took off for 2 months to India. He was eating, praying, and loving.
Yeah, absolutely. In my own way. Yeah, I definitely left for 2 months, and in my mind, I thought it was over. Like I was like, I'm going back to Paris, and like, I'm sure like Ian, you have a wife, and you have your 2 dogs, and I was like, I can't just show up beginning of February and be like, let's go testing in 2 weeks.
That's exactly what he did,
and exactly what he did to me.
But like, I'm a stubborn guy. So what I did was I still reached out to Ian, and we started Googling it, and Ian's like, was on it. Like you got all these links, which I hadn't even Googled yet. So you went online.
We met for coffee, like within 2 days after you came back from India.
And like, we hadn't spoken in 2 months. Like we hadn't talked about F1 at all.
No, we haven't even chatted, like not on Facebook Messenger, nothing.
So all those cars were coming out, the new cars, we were getting all excited. We were ramped up on coffee, which is something that we do regularly.
Pushan looks at me with these
What's that
cracked
coffee
out
spot you go to?
KB Coffee.
KB Coffee.
KB Coffee.
Oh, shout out to them.
Yep.
Shout out, send me coffee.
So Pushan looks at me with these cracked out, like caffeine eyes, like, dude, are we gonna do this? Like hypothetically speaking, and he puts his hands together. He's like, how much would it cost for us to go to F1 testing? And so we started looking at flights, reasonable flights for last minute. This was like 6 days in advance.
Was
this was like I think about 8 days before.
Okay.
Or just about a week. Yeah, we found the flights; they were cheap. We actually bought the flights before we bought anything.
Yeah.
That must have been the time that you told me just to like plant a seed in my mind. You're like, yeah, I'm thinking about going to F1 testing. I was like, damn, I'm going to be so jealous of you.
So the timeline was basically that. So Ian and I were like looking at it, and I was like, dude, and we kept talking about it like for a few days, and we didn't get anything concrete in. And I said, dude, after work, one day, come over, we'll look at this. Mm-hmm. We literally geeked out about F1 for like 45 minutes, and we only had half an hour to do this. So we took 15 minutes to look at flights, look at the packages we wanted to get, and that's how it happened. We booked the flights, and then we basically said, all right. We were debating between we want to go to either one of the top teams.
Well, that's also what really kind of pushed us to go to F1 testing. You can pay €20 to get into the circuit and watch the cars go around in general admission areas, but there's VIP experiences that you can buy through Motorsport Live /bookf1.com. For winter testing. Mm-hmm. And so there's a schedule for teams that offer these programs. I think it's also organized by Winfield Racing School, which is based out of Paul Ricard.
Yeah, so they handle all the reservations and they have the in with Renault. I'm not sure if they have the in with the other teams, but they're the ones who deal with Renault.
I'm not sure if it's exclusively Renault because they have different schedules. So for example, week 2, day 1 and day 2 of testing was with Red Bull or Toro Rosso or something like that. You could be a guest at their team. And then the week earlier was, I think you could be a guest of the Mercedes team. You could be a guest of Red Bull. Now, the thing is, though, is that the price points are different. And I think that you pay for what you get. So if you pay, half the price, you're just going to have an access to the paddock. You probably get to meet some of the drivers just in passing. But you don't have access to the garage. You don't get, full paddock access, things like that. So Renault had a F1 VIP experience. It was not cheap.
No, it wasn't cheap. Yeah. There was a few cheaper options, I remember, but everything was sold out by the time we looked at it, right?
Yeah.
And we basically didn't. I mean, we had a choice for McLaren, right? For a
no,
second,
no, we didn't. McLaren was doing their testing day like the first half of the second week. So we'd already had the flight booked, so the hotel done. So we couldn't. That was out of reach. It was either Renault or it was nothing.
Yeah. So we basically said, all right, fuck it. We bought it at the same exact time to make sure one person wouldn't get it, and the other would be stuck going alone or something. So we ended up getting that, and we're like, all right, let's deal with hotels later, right? Yeah. So we got the tickets. I remember I told Remy about this, and he was like, it's probably at that stage it was more like brainstorming about it. So I don't think I don't know what happened. You might have
is that when you bought the ticket?
You might not have thought it was serious yet, but we bought the tickets, and I remember the night I was about to go to sleep. Ian and I were super excited, we got a hotel, we got all this, and I texted Remy. I was like, hey man, by the way, we're going to F1 testing, and we got the Renault F1 Team VIP experience. Mm-hmm. And you were like, there's no way I'm missing out on this.
Yeah.
So you immediately told me, give me your flight details, gave me the exact dates, and I was like, I made sure to tell you, we're going on this exact date. Don't get another date. That's the day. This is the flight, and you end up flying from where?
So I took a boat to Martinique, and then flew from Martinique to Paris, and then we went to Barcelona the next day.
It's like an 8-hour flight, right?
Yeah, it's about an 8-hour flight.
Man, the things we do.
How many days in advance did you book that flight?
As soon as he told me, I booked the flight right away.
Was it 3 days before this?
Yeah, I think it was not more than 5 days. It must have been 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Then,
you got straight off the plane. You came here and met Pushan, and then we met for coffee.
Yeah, we met for coffee. And the next day we left.
At KB.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was like, holy crap, this thing is expensive. So I basically, sacrifices must be made,
that's the phrase for this whole trip, right? How pissed would you have been if we had gone without you?
Dude, I would have been furious. Right? I would have been so jealous.
Yeah.
So
I don't think you would have spoken to me.
Just all right.
Well, I'm glad you made it. And I'm glad we did this VIP Renault experience.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
What a freaking ordeal! Like we left super early out of Paris, right? We made it. We made it to like, and we actually left a day early. Like Ian and I wanted to leave the day of testing, and go straight to the circuit. And I'm glad we didn't because I was so excited the night before we left that I barely slept.
Yeah.
Like I had all my bags ready. I had like 18 alarm clocks, like 2 minutes at a time. And basically when I woke up, I was pretty much already awake.
Yeah.
And we got to the airport. We got to Barcelona, which is great. And a day in advance, mostly because we didn't want to miss.
6 in the morning.
You guys had a beer from the Air France lounge.
Thanks, Air France.
Yeah. Well, thank me for getting it.
Whatever, for sure. All right, that's true. Remy came out with a giant stack of croissants. You're only allowed one person in. There's 3 of us, so you guys came out with like stacks of croissants and like a beer.
Stuff like
6 in the
water
morning.
and fruits in the back.
Oh yeah.
But also, the important thing of getting there a day early was we knew we wanted to get a banner.
Yeah.
Right? So we're like we had talked about we were planning on getting a banner here in Paris because it'd be much easier. And everything happens at the last minute, so we ended up looking for a store there.
Dude, we found a
we found
great
the best
hardware
spot,
store.
yeah.
Like the hardware store game in Barcelona is on point. Like,
yeah.
on
Like
point.
7 floors of just.
And they have like everything you need, even
yeah.
in the very basement. You could probably build a house with all the shit they've got in there.
One-stop shop. I'm surprised we didn't run into like F1 mechanics that are looking
Vertically
for
integrated. Yeah, exactly.
That would have been sick.
Yeah.
Fix your front wing, floor number 8.
The thing is, though, is that so we bought all the materials for a banner. We paid like 80 euros for all that stuff, and then we brought it back. And we're like, so what are we going to write on it?
We're like, let's deal with that later.
Yeah.
Let's figure out a way. How do we get to the circuit? So we actually went to bed.
And also, are we going to rattle canvas
early.
this banner in our hotel room?
Yeah.
We're like, no, we bought all the stuff to outline things. We didn't use any of it. We
Yeah.
basically used the spray paint in the
Yeah.
banner, but we didn't worry about that. We were more focused on the next day with a VIP experience.
Right.
So we turned in pretty early the night. We were pretty damn responsible.
Oh yeah, we're also pretty much sleep deprived. Like Remy hadn't slept for a night. I hadn't slept the night before. We're all excited. So
Same.
we had a relatively tame evening.
Mm-hmm.
Just a couple of patata bravas. Get the tapas game going,
Yeah.
and we were up ready to go by 6:30. I think we were out the door. 6:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Out the
Yeah,
circuit.
6:30, 6:45. we were
Easy,
gone.
really easy to get to.
Everything worked out really, really smoothly. I could see how a lot of things would go wrong, but it worked out very smooth. We were staying right down the street from the station that took us like directly to the track.
Yeah, we had a direct line.
And then right there's a taxi stand. Like it's completely deserted, but there's like a phone number there. We called them up and
We met a random F1 fan.
gave him
That was pretty cool.
an Alfa Romeo fan.
Yeah, Alfa Romeo fan. Yeah, he
I
gets to ride with
hesitated
us.
to give him a lip, but I was like, all right, Kimmy.
Solidarity.
Exactly. If
F1
you're a Kimmy fan,
solidarity.
that's cool. I'm cool with that. I can get on board.
What kind of broke my heart though is that he had like general admission tickets and we had paddock tickets. So the driver was telling me like, hey, listen, man, like he's on another side of the track. I know you guys have been cool about this, but like, you should check before because like we're going to different spots. But we made it happen. We dropped him off.
Yeah.
He got his thing, and we went straight to the accreditation, which is when the magic was started for us, right? We got there.
Now, this is a critique for you booking bookf1.com or Motorsport Live. If you're paying 900 euros, right, for an experience,
plus a 51 euro, what is it, ticket admission fee?
Yes.
I mean, come on, guys. Like, seriously, that's unreasonable.
bullshit.
That is, sorry, guys, that's bullshit. But also, if you're going to make us go to the accreditation center, which is basically, like a 20, 30-minute walk away from the paddock, get some kind of transportation for the people that are going all the way out there to get these passes.
Get a golf cart.
Get a golf cart.
Yeah. Let us drive it. Let us race them.
Yeah, exactly. Let's race some golf carts on that motocross track.
But
I
agree.
can organize a shuttle that says, okay, like if you are at the accreditation center by 8 o'clock when it opens, okay, there'll be a shuttle leaving at 8:30 once you get all the stuff you need, and then just put everyone in one of those vans that goes around the track and bring them into the paddock. It's not that hard to figure out, guys.
Right. So at the time, like we were nervous of like missing a single minute. So yeah, we were pretty nervous about that. We got lucky. We met some really cool British fans that had a car, gave us a ride. So
yeah, they were really nice guys.
what was great though is like obviously that
Richard and Bob, right?
Yeah.
Richard and
Yeah.
Bob, if
Thanks.
you ever listen to this, you guys are awesome.
Thanks for
And-
meeting you. Sorry we ditched you guys. I know you're going to try and give us a ride back to the station that night, but I think you guys will understand.
But I just want to reiterate, like, it is a critique for Book F1 and Motorsport Live and Winfield that it's like that they're all partners in this. But in the end, like, what happened next? We forgot about that within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like within 5 seconds, I think.
Well, as
It's
soon
like
as we walked
yeah.
as soon as we got out of the car and we started walking around the paddock, we saw Lance Stroll skipping rope, like getting ready in his racing suit with a beanie on.
Yeah.
Well,
And he's
yeah.
also had an entire like section gated off for his motorhome with a Montana license plate on it. And then there's a second motorhome, and he's just there, just skipping rope with his trainer next to him. And it's
Yeah.
like we were already like, whoa, dude, like that's Lance Stroll.
Yeah, so we
I don't even like
forgot
Stroll,
about
dude. But it's like,
everything.
whoa.
dude, yeah. So we get in though. The first thing that I remember was like we're walking in and we're all kind of super good. I think we high fived like 20 times within the first minute.
Oh, we started howling. We're going,
We were definitely howling, and all this. The first thing I remember is like Remy was completely overwhelmed. Like you and I have been like how many races have you been to before?
like 4?
4 or 5, right?
4, I think, yeah.
I've been to 5, and Remy is his first time ever going to see F1 cars,
Yeah.
and he enters through the freaking paddock, dude. So like,
Yeah,
imagine
that's-
that.
Yeah,
I kept looking back, and I was like, "Is Remy gonna?
Am I gonna be okay?
Can he speak right now? Like, I've never seen him like that."
I walked in, I was just dazed. I almost cried. I couldn't believe I was there.
I know.
And then I remember Cyril was walking by. I was like, "Oh, that's Cyril!" And I said that too loud.
And actually, the first driver, like, so we went down the pit lane, right? The first driver we saw was Norris, actually, Lando.
Yeah,
and he looked like, honestly, he looked like a middle school kid. Like, he's small and he's super young. He's 19.
He's wearing like a beanie that
yeah.
covered like his eyebrows,
Yeah.
like it was like covering his entire head. He's a weird chip head.
And this is when like all the
Sorry,
shout-outs started.
Lando.
We're just like, "What up, Norris?" Like, just like things that come out of your mouth when you see a driver are kind of weird. I didn't think we would be crazy or ridiculous.
We love you, Lando.
But we made a pact. It was like anything that happens here stays here. Like, no judgment. Just go and do your thing.
Just to be clear, in terms of how we act in front of drivers, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because we, our inner teenagers come out and our voices start screeching.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not a big Hamilton fan, but I was yelling like, "What's up, man?" Like,
man. We'll get back to the Hamilton later.
yeah, okay, all right. So what? Then we ran into. Okay, so we saw.
We basically had like about 25 minutes to get to walk around the paddock, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we got there like 8:15,
Yeah.
and testing starts at 9. So
But you're forgetting who we saw right after Lando Norris.
we saw
Charles Leclerc.
Leclerc.
Oh shit!
We turn around the corner. Charles Leclerc
Talk
is
about
there.
losing your
cool,
Yeah.
right?
capacity
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be cool around these guys.
I've got this great selfie with him where I'm smiling into the camera and he's just like looking where he wants to go. It's just like
He was not into it, yeah. And I think
No,
Remy at this point was still like 10 feet behind us, trying to like keep up because we were running all over, like, "Oh, dude, someone's in red, could be a driver."
Yep.
And I remember we're trying to get selfies, and I fumble, like my phone just falls, of course.
Yeah.
And that's great. I dropped my phone before, but there's definitely the nerves of seeing.
Yeah,
You
I
start
remember
shaking, yeah,
you're
you're
like,
shaking,
oh my gosh,
dude.
yeah,
Charles
like
Leclerc.
you get that strike of the heart and like you start shaking. You're like, "Oh my god, like I gotta get a picture with him." Like, oh
Yeah, I haven't been like excited to see someone in red since I saw Schumi, So,
Yeah.
and I never saw Alonso in red, which would have been dope, but
That
that'll
would've
just,
been
not really my style. I respect him, 4-time world champion, but Leclerc, dude, how excited are we for him?
so stoked for Leclerc.
We definitely got a lot, like, that's within the first 30 minutes.
He's just.
So,
I'm so stoked because he's had such a fucking like stellar career, dude. Like his GP2 campaign was so fucking good, and then his rookie season in F1 with Alpha,
Outstanding.
outstanding, dude.
it was Sauber still last year, right?
Yeah.
Sauber, Alfa Romeo,
The
whatever.
pre-alpha.
Pre-alpha. But I mean, now to go from your rookie year to filling like one of the seats of the Prince, of course, dude, that's fucking special.
He brought it. We'll definitely be talking about him more, I think, in our preseason podcasts.
I think that he's a true racer, and I don't think that there's much that can get in his way, psychologically, or like any kind of pressure like that. I think that he's going to do very well.
We all hope so. We all hope so.
Yeah.
But let's talk about our VIP experience.
Okay. So what?
Wait! Before we even got in there, we went up to the top.
Yeah.
And we just saw the cars start and just go down.
Yeah,
And
we
that
saw
was
it trundling down the
beautiful.
pit lane and then
Yeah,
flying down the straightaway, and we were all jumping up and down.
Yeah.
We had access.
I
we had
couldn't
access to
believe
the pit lane terrace, right?
Yeah.
On top of the entire media center,
Yeah.
everything. So basically, the rooftop.
And actually,
looks over to
that's when we started. That's like the first time we saw a car. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was the first time.
yeah. At full speed, just
I
full
remember.
whack.
I think the first car I saw was McLaren coming out of the pits.
It might have been.
Yeah.
That was, I think they started up first.
And then we saw Hamilton
like,
come out, but Hamilton was going down the straight in like fifth gear, just kind of, I don't know, probably doing system checks or something.
Yeah,
Haas was going
we also
down,
saw
Haas, yeah.
on the way to the terrace. We also saw Hamilton going from his motorhome to the garage.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
That's
And
true,
He
yeah.
kind of just like
Yeah.
waved in our direction.
Yeah.
Because when you're in the
Well, he
paddock,
was waving at
He
me and
gave
Remy
us-
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, thumbs up.
no,
Yeah.
I got a
Yeah.
video of him doing it. Yeah, I got a vantage point. You know,
I have you on video.
You have me on video saying a lot of stuff.
Oh man,
You're supposed to overlay music to all that stuff, okay?
Oh, yeah. The thing is, I like to keep the audio in the video. Well, yeah, that'll come out later. So
it doesn't always have to be synced. Oh, push on, all right? No, but yeah. So let's see what we then we had to meet at the Renault motorhome, and that's where we met Carlota. Carlota is a special lady. She has a special place in my heart. Carlota, thank you very much for holding our hands around the paddock. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I mean, I know that it's kind of hard to, you know, wrangle a bunch of people that really just want to kind of go wherever they want and push them through when an F1 team's trying to do work. So you're a rock star. Thank you. You gave us a great tour, and your hospitality was very hospitable.
Yeah. So we met in front of the Renault. What is it, like, hospitality? Mm-hmm. And we walked in. There's tables. They had like a little Renault gift bag. So we sat down with Richard and Bob, and we had a little gift bag with like notebook. We had a nice pen. We had some earplugs that we did not use because, you know, let's face it, we'd rather bust our ears.
Yeah, I'd rather go deaf.
And, I'd rather go deaf than like not hear the full sound. Of those turbo engines, which actually do sound pretty sweet. I remember the V10s were like unbeatable.
That's just a different. That's a different topic.
That would really hurt your ears.
That would blow your ears out.
I was talking to Richard and Bob too. They were like the V12s were outstanding.
Oh my god,
they're old school. Yeah, they saw the V12s, dude. Oh shit.
I remember Hockenheim 05. I mean, just when all the cars came through with all the traction control. The traction control and then the sound just like making the ground shake. Absolutely nuts.
Yeah, that's like one of the fastest tracks too.
So let's see. Yeah, we kind of sat down. We went through our little goodie bag, and then before you know it, James Allen, big time Formula One journalist,
commentator as well. I think on Channel 4. I think he's a commentator.
Was he?
Yeah,
he's probably Anyways, his blog is JA F1, James Allen on F1. It's really, really in depth. Really, good content. So big F1 nerds like myself, Bouchon, Remy, we appreciate that content. So it felt though that his introduction and kind of everything was very well rehearsed. I think that he was probably invited by Motorsport Live to do these introductions and field questions at all of these kind of VIP experiences. So it was very smooth. He's a very good presenter, but it felt like, it's like, I'm here. This is like a normal thing, for me to do. Now that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But who was really, really interesting and that actually pretty surprising for me was meeting Giorgio Piola, the technical illustrator.
Dude.
Who does all the really insane design.
So explain for those who don't know, like, who's Giorgio Piola in the F1 world?
Now, Giorgio Piola, he's like the fly on the wall. He kind of sees everything. He has an incredible eye for detail. He said it himself that when he was younger, when we asked him how did he get involved in doing technical illustrations, he says, when I was younger, my parents noticed I was really good about the spot the difference, games that you'd find in a magazine, like a kid's magazine, like Highlights or something. And so that's just something that he's kind of always, stuck to, spotting the difference. So, he'd go around and he'd just snap some pictures and then he'd start, doing these technical illustrations and kind of talking about, having commentary on like what they're supposed to be doing, for each aerodynamic appendage or, every duct that you might see, whether it be a cooling duct or the S duct, all those things. But he's also told us that he's kind of uninvited by a lot of the teams, into the garage because they all know what he's about. They all know what he does.
Right.
It's kind of like giving away the Death Star plans,
Yeah, he's a bit of a peeker. Yeah. That's his job. And we love it. Like, as fans, we've seen his drawings a lot, especially in the last couple of years, since F1's rebranded and opened up more and tried to make a huge effort for the fans, and we love his designs. And I love how he the story he told about him being the McLaren in front of that MP44, I think, in his bathing suit without a shirt, and he's like, okay, you have 20 minutes here with the car, and that's how he did his first sketch.
There's an old picture of him actually in these dolphin shorts, the really short bathing suit shorts, and he's just drawing stuff. That's really
he was cool. And what I remember from that, there was probably how many people were there? Probably 40, I think. 40 people that did the experience as well.
Yeah.
And the best part of that was that we were asking questions directly to Giorgio Piola, and there was only time for a few questions. but the 3 questions came from 3 of us.
Yeah.
Everyone else was either too shy or really pissed at us because we were like monopolizing.
Yeah, especially, I mean, you were really monopolizing as well. I wanted to hate you on the show and be like, yo, I want to turn.
You actually did, and I was about to smack you. I was like, dude, I love aerodynamics. Let me ask my questions.
You were asking like 5 or something, like, anyone have a question?
Hey, the way I see it is like, if you have Piola and you paid €951 and you have him for 5 minutes, you're going to ask me your questions, and if you can bounce back on that, that's not an extra question.
Yeah,
I might have done that twice.
You asked the double question.
I asked 3 questions total, I think.
I wish
there's
I
all
had
questions that you guys
moment.
wanted as well.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what I respected about Giorgio Piola's speech and in his time is that he spoke to us, as competent Formula One fans. He knew that we're on the level of of F1 nerd, and I think that anyone who's paying €900 a day to be there is probably in the same boat. So, James Allen, I wish that we could have gotten a bit more in depth, a bit more sensitive kind of, about like what's happening in the paddock during the testing season, preseason testing. But it was very kind of, he was in front of the camera kind of talking to some novice F1 fans. And I mean, I'm not trying to gatekeep, and say, oh yeah, you can't be if you're not an F1 nerd, you don't deserve to be here. Everyone deserves to be there for sure. But I think that it's pretty apparent that everyone who paid that much money to be there is really big in F1, and we'd understand if you wanted to get really technical with us about it. So
that was really cool. That was like one of the highlights, and
it was really cool. We saw him again in the paddock too.
We did. Well, we'll definitely get back to that as well. Because like what happened later, did we go from there directly into the garage then? I think.
Yeah, we went into the garage. Yeah,
so that's part of the experience. Like so we separated in little groups, right? And I think some of them went, to different parts, and we kind of like had this rotation system. Mm-hmm. But we were in Carlota's group, and we went straight to the garage, right? So testing had already started. We entered through like those 2 motorhomes. Like imagine us walking through like 2 yellow trucks. It's like, it's like what you see drivers do, what you see like Will Buxton, we'll get to him also do. And we walked straight into the garage and like, you know what?
It's like you've seen it a million times before on a camera, and you're like,
oh my
God, I'm here. Like, and you start getting, the shivers. It's just like, oh, like I'm between the trucks. I'm walking towards the garage. I'm going to the garage.
And at that point, Remy was still like, he's like,
oh yeah,
I'm done. I was done the entire time.
The entire day, we had to keep asking, like, where did Remy go? Because Remy's eyes were just like so big and wide. He's just like,
and Ian and I were like, we need to get that first spot, dude. We need to be right in the front.
Kushan and I were super aggressive about everything. We just wanted to like just live in it, just bathe in Formula One. Like, we were a bit aggressive at times.
Elbows out, just locking down our like our front row.
Straight up, man. Yep. Yeah.
But it was cool. But what did kind of crush my heart as a photographer, and we knew that was going to happen. This is testing and secret. They said absolutely no photos allowed in the garage.
There's someone on Reddit that took a picture.
Yeah,
I will find that person and strangle them.
Yeah,
because I'm really jealous.
Next year, F1 VIP experience. We're gonna find you, bro.
I'll get you. Because I had rented this huge lens, right? Like the lens was like I think about 8 kilos. Had 2 cameras. And thank you, Remy, for carrying the camera when I threw it at you. Remy was my unofficial assistant.
Didn't get paid for it.
Very unofficial.
Well, he's been freely lodged in my parents' apartment while I sleep on my mom's couch for a week. So I think it kind of evens out.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you.
So I did pay you. But yeah, so we're in this garage, and the first thing we see. We see the cars there. It's like only 1 car, right? Because it's only 1 car per team, and they alternate. And there's a few engineers looking at telemetry and like trying to look and see what's happening on the screens. Yeah. And we're like, holy shit, there's Alain Prost right there, 1-time world champion.
And Cyril Abiteboul.
They were just there looking at the information on the screen. And then Hulk was already in the car. Ready to go out. And
we got headphones.
Yeah,
we were able to listen to the team radio, so we were able to listen to some of the transmissions between the mechanics and the engineer and the driver. Hulk, and I mean, just the operation runs so smoothly.
Yeah, and I'm surprised of like how calm the drivers are.
Yeah, everyone.
This is testing. I get it. Like testing is less pressure, but like when
it's not what Will Buxton was telling us. But we'll get into that.
When he's driving. Oh wait, yeah. When he's driving, I love the feedback. I wish we could have gotten more of that, but it's really cool to get that conversation. And when getting back to the pits, though, that's when like remember when he was talking about the engine lapping. I think.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, what would you say? Well, let's see. Well, first off, they fired up the car. We're in that little bay. When you watch an F1 Grand Prix, you see all the invited guests kind of in that little pit, and in that little box, so they can't get in the way of the mechanics or anything. we were standing there, and we put the headphones on, and all of a sudden they're like, okay, we're going out in 1 minute. And, all of a sudden all the mechanics are around. They got their hands on the tire blankets. They move the fences. The one guy comes out, and he's got his hand out, like stop. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, start the engine. It's like, and I mean, I was surprised there's no jack to start the engine. It started automatically. I don't know how they do that. I guess they have an onboard starter for that. And then, the guy does the thing where he kind of makes the goalpost sign, with his hands. And then, in unison, all of the mechanics take off the tire blankets, and the car's lowered, and boom, it's like, whoa, whoa, it just takes off. It goes out the garage. And I mean, and then, it goes down the pit lane, and all of a sudden the mechanics, they just kind of, put the tire blankets away. They go do what they got to do, and then they're just kind of hanging out till the car comes back. And in the meantime, the engineers are standing behind the screens, looking at the live telemetry.
Screen, yeah.
Right. And there's either we didn't hear it, or there was no communication between the driver and the engineer. That was all saved for when Hulk came back into the pits, because he did an installation lap and he came back. And from there they said, okay, how was that, Hulk? And they said, and turn this.
Did they call him Hulk?
I don't know. No, they called him Nico.
Yeah, I think they called him Nico.
It's funny because I was like, Nico, like, that sounds so familiar. And it's like, okay, Nico. It was really like that calm British, like, okay, Nico. Like, I'm really bad at a British accent, but...
oh, no, you got it down. Yeah. I'll come out later.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But, what is it saying? Yeah, no, the feedback, I remember Nico said something like, I don't have a lot of confidence in the car. It could be more, in turn like 8 and 9.
Yeah, something about the engine.
And then he said something, the engine could be crisper.
I don't think he said
as crisp as
confidence.
before.
He was talking about like the grip. He's like, the grip's good. Could be better.
But it's still good.
Yeah, but it's still good.
It's like the sex is like pizza joke,
Yeah.
When it's bad, it's good. It's still pretty good,
It's still pretty good. I mean, it's still an F1 car.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day.
When it's good, it's good. But when it's bad, it's still pretty good.
Imagine all the drivers go-karting, that's what they're dreaming of.
Yeah,
and
right.
what was really awesome is that, and we talked about that, I mean, I've never done go-karting at the level you guys have raced, but it just really looked like a go-karting team, but just everything which is bigger and crazier and more specific and just more money. But if you looked at it, it's like when we saw a car with 4 tires, and it's like, oh yeah, this is like pretty much the same thing, like the same model that is like at a huge level, 100 millions of euros.
Oh
right?
yeah. Well,
So that was really cool.
Too, but...
Super complex, definitely the radio and all that. But it was really cool.
Watching the go-karts, not go-karts, watching the cars actually around the track, it kind of reminded me. It's like, what, this is really like, I could see how similar it is to racing like a 125 shifter, Like, I mean, the braking is so deep, and, the acceleration, the cornering, like that. It's like racing a go-kart. It is a lot like racing, a little mini F1 car, I guess. Or, a big F1 car.
Yeah, like the track is just so huge, too. Like, you don't realize until you go to these tracks, like, how much happens, like, in the inside of the tracks. Mm-hmm. Like, I forget, like, someone told us it was, like, 120 square kilometers.
No, right? No, it's like 120,000 square meters, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, which is freaking huge, right? Yeah. I mean, they have the go-kart track.
He says he's not sure in kilometers, but
yeah, no, because kilometers, that would be huge.
Yeah, that would be like the size of
120,000 square meters. Yeah.
Could you imagine an eternally long racetrack? I mean,
dude,
like the Nordschleife, but times 10.
Bringing it back.
Yeah.
One lap race.
So, moving on, we were in the garage. We saw Nico come in and out a few times. We heard a bit more feedback, but I mean, when the car was on, I mean, my headphones were off. I was listening to that,
It was so loud, though. I tried that too. I put it off a little bit and put it back on. I was like, I can't.
I'm kind of deaf, so it's already, the damage has been done.
So, as we said, sacrifice is best we can.
Yeah.
That day, it was the ears.
So, but after being in that little kind of, pit box in the pit box.
Yeah.
Yeah, that little bullpen kind of.
Yeah, the VIP section.
We were moved along, and Carlota gave us a tour of the other sides of the garage, which is quite enormous. A lot of people think that the garage is really, there's the front part where the cars are stationed, the mechanics and engineering station. But, I mean,
it's like 3 parts to it.
There's 3 parts to it. Yeah, there's one part entirely for, it was like a mobile aerodynamics shop, mobile carbon shop. And then there's one section just for the tires. And then stuff, or all the extra supplies and things like that. And, behind, we got a quick peek in, but behind there's a big engineering station. So, I mean, on top of all the trucks that are there in the paddock, and, they all serve a purpose. One's hospitality, one's spare parts, One's an engineering station. One's a meeting place for all the the administration of the F1 team. You have all these other things going on in the garage, and it's absolutely massive. So that's one thing that really surprised me, was how big the garages were. So getting a tour of all that was very cool. And then after, we were kind of left to our own devices with our cameras and with our selfie sticks too.
Is that when we got left right in the pits?
No, so after that, I think
we hung out in the pits.
We had lunch.
I think we went out for lunch. No, we had a bit of a moment where we were outside. There was like this one section outside where we could see the cars going in front of us in the pits, and that was really cool.
Yeah,
I remember that's when I think Remy, you were trying to get like a group photo with like all the people.
Hey, you guys just like ducked and went away.
Yeah, because I was like trying to sneak under that little, like, what's that called? That little tape, you know? Like,
there's like a little barrier
the
there.
little thing they have in airports where you can kind of just open up and go on the other side. Yeah. I was going under that with my 100 to 400 millimeter lens to get a shot of the Ferrari. That was right next door.
Yep.
And I heard you. Like, it's not like I didn't hear you.
No, I know.
It's like,
I
just blatantly ignored you because
I know.
they were priorities at that moment for me, was to get a cool F1 shot.
I hear you, I just don't care.
Yeah, it's like, can we get a group shot? I was like, well, let's do that at lunch, bro. Like, I know it's like a good PR move for Renault, but I don't know how many times I'm ever going to be in the pits again.
Right.
So I think after that, what we did is like we were brought outside because like we had to rotate. We were the yellow group. There's like a green group. They went in and we switched, and we actually got to see a replica of the Renault F1 steering wheel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that was really cool. I mean, there was like Carlota was nice enough to actually give us the steering wheel to like pass it around, and to actually hold it and like take pictures with it. So we saw all the buttons, you know, like the DRS activation, the pit, the drink, all the
switches
in the back of it.
Yeah, I probably can't name all of them right now, but there's like all the brake ballast. You drivers should probably know more.
Right. Yeah. Brake balance.
Brake balance.
And what was really interesting is that there's presets on the steering wheel. So basically, it saves the driver time going into the corner. So say there's one really technical corner where the driver, would typically have to make a lot of changes to get through the corner faster. What they could do is they save the presets for a certain corner. And so what he does is going, towards the corner, he presses the button, and all the settings that they want for that corner are automatically made. So he no longer has to,
right.
he doesn't have to waste all his time, fiddling with all the buttons and the mapping and the brake balance, all that stuff. You just press the button. It's just, it's ready to go through the corner.
And do you remember, so there was the back pedals.
That's what it was, yeah.
So the first one was the
top ones were the presets.
The presets, then there was the gears and the clutch.
And the gears and then the clutch, yeah.
And there were some ones at the very bottom.
In the back of the
I don't remember what those were for.
No, so I think there was the ones in the bottom, like the little. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
The ones at the bottom of the clutch.
And the ones in the bottom are the clutch.
No, there were some small ones.
No, the one on the top are the presets.
Okay, well we'll have to. Anyway, we'll post some photos online later.
Did we get a picture of the back of it? I don't think we did we?
No, I have a picture on my camera.
Okay.
And I think after that, what we did. I think after that was when we went for lunch.
Yeah.
And that was, for me, like, although there was no F1, I think I was still kind of struggling to realize and comprehend where we were. Because as soon as we walked in to lunch, like, okay, so I was on the same table as you guys. I was a little bit bummed about that, but right after, like, I realized I had to sit, I turned around and I just saw Danny Rick go from one motorhome to the other.
Yeah.
And I just, like, I yelled at you guys, like, did you guys see? And you guys were already staring. I was like,
yeah,
oh, cool.
I was looking for you guys. You guys had stayed behind you were like the last ones out of every group.
Well, they said lunch was at 1, so I was like, I will leave at 12:59.
And so I got in there and I sat down. And there was Danny Rick just eating lunch, talking with an engineer or whoever. I don't remember who it was. And I was like, where are these guys? Where are these guys? And I just didn't move.
Remember, you're just like, he was right there, man. Because he walked into the motorhome. He walked into like some other part of the motorhome and like magically appeared on the other side.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, Danny Rick, you're like a magician or something. But
illusionist.
Yeah. And then we saw Cyril and we saw Eric, and I was like, oh, I really want to go talk to them.
Everyone walked out.
For the group photos. Cyril was there. Bouillet was there. Yeah. They were just literally having a meeting with a coffee 2 tables down, and I was there with like the big zoom, like really not discreetly taking a photo of them. I was like, fuck it, we're here.
I've got my pass, dude. I paid to be here. I'm gonna take some pictures.
Yeah, looking back on it, we probably should have done like an obnoxious selfie with them, but they looked like we were having a serious conversation.
They were having,
And what I love is like you, like 1 minute you see Prost is like behind you, and like he'll go around to like the next motorhome, and you see through the window like, how did he get there? Danny Rick is there, and he's here. It's like, all right. So lunch was really good. Lunch was cool. I honestly, like, for me, it was like a pit stop. I just wanted to eat and get out right away.
Yeah.
I didn't care. It was really good food, Renault. Hospitality is amazing. Really good service. And although through the booking, I told them I was vegetarian, and they didn't,
that's another thing.
They whipped it up pretty quickly. So that's another thing about the booking. I feel like the communication could be improved a little bit.
Yeah.
Not chirping, but just giving you.
The food was pretty good. It was quite small. I think it was supposed to be kind of like a gastronomic experience.
Oh yeah, you guys
like
had
a
the meat,
delicacy.
right?
Yeah, we had it's just like 3 little pieces of meat.
Yeah.
And like the tiniest potato croquettes like you've ever seen. It was probably like the size of like a sand dollar or like a silver dollar. Like it's very, very small.
It was very good, right?
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah.
I cut it into like little pieces, and shoved it down my gullet.
I had some bomb pesto though.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, and the lemon tart was great.
Yeah.
The lemon tart was good. Yeah. Actually, Pouchon won here because he got the vegetarian option where it was a big bowl of pesto.
And the chef was Italian, so I was like, you know what?
He knows exactly
bring
what
it. Bring it. Hey, maybe we should start an F1 food vlog.
Maybe.
That's
we got a different hospitality unit to try out.
All the passions together.
Oh man, that would be pretty good. I think Ferrari might win it though.
Who knows? That'd be a good episode.
Can you imagine if Haas was just full of burgers?
If you hot dogs and burgers, there's like a big old barbecue in the back.
If you guys ever need a food review of the paddock, we are completely ill-equipped to do it, but we would love to do it.
Mm-hmm. We'll be like the layman, food critiques. Yeah, I think that's actually, it's more relatable.
Plan B.
Yeah, it's more relatable that you get a bunch of average guys that are not involved, hugely into Formula One or the gastronomic world coming in and eating your food. So give us a shout.
Yeah.
And after lunch, it was like right back into the garage, right?
Yeah, after lunch we went back in the garage, which I was absolutely stoked about because I thought that was our only time in there.
We went right back into it.
Yeah. Danny Rick was in the car for the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we saw Hulk get out. That was another thing that we saw.
Yeah, we had pictures with him after lunch.
Absolutely, you're right. Yeah, right after lunch.
Yeah.
No, when he was testing when we were in the garage the first time. They on the radio they said, okay, Hulk, it's going to be a minute and get out. So he just unbuckles his belt, gets out, takes his helmet off. I don't know, he went to take a leak or something, but he walked right past us and we're like, what's up, dude?
Putting your hand out, not getting the high five that you wanted.
Yeah,
it's okay, it's cool.
Yo, dude,
cool,
totally snubbed me. Yeah. But then 2 minutes later, he's just kind of hanging out in the garage and they're like, okay, Hulk, get it back in the car.
Yeah, it's pretty clinical what they do. I understand why they don't look because they're there to test their car.
Yeah,
it's
a really good way to put it. It's very clinical.
Yeah. And before we went back in the garage, so in the package, right, it says you have a meet and greet with an F1 driver.
Mm-hmm.
So we were already getting super excited. We're gonna be able to chat with Daddy Rick and
sit down and have a chat.
It turned out it was like a group photo.
That's it.
which is cool.
No, we did get to meet an F1 driver, but we'll get to that in a minute.
But in terms of the experience of what was kind of written out for us, I guess there was asterisks in small print. But we had a group photo with Hulk, with Nico Hulkenberg. Mm-hmm. For those of you who don't know, that's his nickname.
Yeah.
It's huge on the side of his helmet.
You'll figure it out.
That was our first attempt at. Actually, you know what? It wasn't really even a group photo. He stood there for about 30 seconds, and he's like, "I'm out."
But we did manage.
He did 2 groups.
We did 2 groups. Yeah. He did 2 or 3, and there's the other VIPs that weren't doing our experience there. But the takeaway from that was that we actually started talking to him, and when he was the first driver. We asked "Hey, Hulk, what should we put on our banner?"
Yeah.
And he was surrounded by 40 people, so he was put on the spot, and he said something like, "Go brake faster,
brake later, or something stupid."
He literally said "brake later" or something stupid. I don't really give a shit.
I want to take the time to apologize to you, Hulk, because I really wanted to put up a banner as well for you. We were trying to do it, but we didn't have the time.
Hey, don't give away the ending yet. The banner's coming up.
Yeah, right.
So that was our first candidate for brake later or something stupid. We were literally going to write
brake later Hulk or something stupid like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Which I liked. On the spot, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
he's a cool dude.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we could be best friends with him.
Yeah. Come on, let's go hang out.
Without the hope.
So, yeah, that's our first experience meeting one of the Renault F1 drivers, and that was cool. I mean, nice to get a picture with him. I only have a selfie with the group, and he's looking the other way, so it's that's another thing about the program is that we didn't have a lot of time at all, like if at all, with the drivers.
Yeah,
that was the
everything
only time.
happens so fast. You just got to be on your feet, have your phones ready if you want to snap a photo. I think one of the people that we ended up meeting towards the end of the day, she said she snapped a selfie with Danny Rick in the motorhome, which we were told not to do. But at that point, do you really listen to rules? Like, I understand the car, but if I had the opportunity to take a selfie with Danny Rick, I would have done it too.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So would all of us.
Yep. Just like that guy that took the picture of the car in the garage.
Yeah, he was just like, I'm not listening
we're coming
to you
for
guys.
you.
Watch your ass.
So we went right back into garage, and that's when we played the, how do you call it? Like the
guess the parts
guess
of the car.
parts of
game.
the car, yeah. Which, honestly, Ian, you destroyed.
Yeah, you dominated.
Yeah, man, I know my parts.
You know your car parts, bro.
Oh, what they had the fuel reservoir.
I think Carlota was saying like, she was like, "Are you guessing all these, or do you actually know?" or something like that. She was really
I
surprised.
was like, I know.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm looking for a job.
Carlota, you don't understand how big of like nerds we are.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, you don't need to hold her hand through this. We know.
Like if you need history, also F1 history, like pole position times that like we randomly remember from like '98.
Wikipedia
pages. We got this.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we crushed that, and then between Bouchon and I, we basically won all the cards.
Yeah.
And whoever won,
I got one of them. You guys like it turned around, and I was like, oh yeah, that's that.
Because the car, when we were doing this quiz, it's really funny because when we were doing this little guess the parts thing, the car was going out, and then basically everyone that was super into the game would just like run to the pit lane to watch the car go out. And then we come back and we're like, oh yeah, that's a brake disc. That's a wheel spacer. Yeah, and then the car would come back in the garage. Everyone would run away again.
It was cool. It was cool. Like, we got to see what a brake pedal looks like, which is really dope. I've never seen that before for an F1 car.
Yeah, it's super lightweight. I mean, all carbon fiber. It's got grip tape on it, like we find on a skateboard, and then it's got kind of like a border around it to hold your feet in place. Yeah. Then she brought out also some of the official driver gear. Hulk's helmet that was quote unquote used in a race.
Right. And what did you read when you looked at it?
Yeah, when you look on the inside, there's a giant patch saying replica, not for motorsport use.
It was definitely way lighter. Also, well, I guess F1 helmets are super light, but it just didn't look official race.
It was an incredibly light helmet. Yeah.
It's a very small helmet too. He has a small head.
Yeah.
But you wore it though.
I wore it because I have a tiny head.
Yeah. I've got a big head, so I'm just resting.
I didn't even want to put it on when she said, "Oh yeah, it's a used one." I was like,
"You didn't want to share all the sweat of the thousands of VIP guests that had worked."
I got nice now. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Oh, and that's why Ian had to shave his head.
We also the tire warmers. That was very surprising. They just had a room of tires with tire warmers on.
Oh, dude,
80 degrees.
You could feel
the heat.
Right?
It was kind of cold out there too, and we were just like, oh, this could warm up your house or something.
Yeah, no, it was literally just a radiator,
Yeah.
I kept the warm garage nice and warm. But then after the guess the game thing, we had some time to take more pictures of the pit lane, and then after that, we were ushered out of the garage and over to a bunch of vans that took us around the track.
Yeah.
Right. And, we maximize our pit lane time because you never know if it's the last time we're coming. And I think that was the last time we were in the pit lane. Mm-hmm. And we went in this car.
In the garage, yeah.
In the garage.
Last time we were in the garage, yeah.
Super exclusive, and that's totally worth it in my opinion. And I think all of us just loved every single second of it. Yeah. And we were the last ones out every single time.
The best part is, I remember that Pouchon and I were always the last ones out. And someone kept having to come back to look for us. And
Melanie, Melanie.
Yeah, sorry. We got you in trouble because we went around the corner looking for the group, and there's this woman there, and she's in French, where are you? Where do you think you're going? And she's like, I'm sorry, we're looking for the group. She's like, they're not here.
And Ian and I were just there smiling, are we going to be able to sneak into the garage?
Yeah,
because we'd have literally been behind Hulk's car, or and Danny Rick's car when he was there. So we got politely asked to get the fuck out of there.
I would say quite sternly,
it was quite stern.
You're not allowed here. And we're please.
we tried though, and then we went in this van, so we're cool, we're gonna be able to go take photos at different parts of the track. They have what do you call those roads?
Service lane tours.
The service lane where we were oh man, we're gonna be able to get out. In my mind, I was full on photographer fantasy of getting out there in the middle of all the media, photographers for Formula1.com and all the other publications. But what ended up happening is that we were stuck in this van, and it was about 3 rows, but Ian and I, of course, and this one, it was not premeditated. I got the seat on the left side, and he was right next to me, and we were able to keep the doors open. So what happened was that they wouldn't let us get off the car for legal reasons, I think.
We had to sign a waiver, at the track, so
so we couldn't like jump off and like take photos. And I think if they allowed us to do that, we would never have come back. I think so. Probably good on them for that. But we got the good spot once again because we literally were riding with the doors open, and I had my seatbelt on, but to get that much closer, I was pretty much riding without it, I think, most of the time. And like just sticking my zoom lens out the window.
And then like 10 meters away, there's an F1 car just blasting past us. That was cool.
So beautiful.
I'm a bit disappointed because I would have really liked to have been able to get out and watch some of the cars go through the corners. I could have easily just spent a day just on the inside of a corner, just watching the car go through and noticing the difference in sound, noticing the difference in speed, noticing the difference in grip, and things like that. But it's a shame because we would stop there for maybe like 30 seconds and then it'd be vamos, vamos, next to the corner.
Yeah, and our experience was cut short a bit because there was a red flag.
Yeah.
Who was it that crashed?
It was Pierre
Gasly. It was Gasly's crash. Yeah, we saw it basically.
That's when he put his left rear tire on the grass.
On the entry to 9.
Yeah. Entry to 9, he pretty much spun out.
Yeah.
And that was pretty fast.
We did.
When we saw the replays,
man,
that back end took a beating.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we were at turn 3 at that point.
Ripped off the corner. We were at turn 3 when that happened.
Yeah.
And basically the session was stopped, but since everything's still on its schedule,
we had to keep going, right?
We had to keep going.
But our driver was cool though, remember?
Yeah, he's like, we're gonna go check it out. And he's like, people don't like it when you take pictures of their car that's wrecked.
And that's exactly when you're supposed to take photos.
Exactly. It's like
you didn't listen to a word of that. You were just like, yep, there it is.
Dude, it's all about bending the rules, man.
That's exactly. If I could take one thing away from that day, it would be do the opposite of what everyone's telling you not to do. So
because you will get that shot. That guy got that shot in the garage,
yeah.
which I didn't. I personally respected the team for that.
Just don't do it.
I took a few shots of Gasly's Red Bull.
I could imagine if you were obnoxiously taking pictures of the car, you'd probably be asked to leave.
Yeah.
You'd probably it'd be like delete those and you're out. Give your pass, gives your badge and your gun. You're out. You're off the force.
So Gasly did so that so in testing, whenever there's one incident, be it like just a car stops on the track or if it's like a huge crash, no matter what, it's like automatic red flag. Get that car back or like get that car in a safe spot of the track to get back to the pits, and then put the green flag out again. So they take their safety really seriously. That was pretty cool to see because we never saw testing before this.
Yeah.
And then I think after that, what we did is it was pretty much towards the end of the afternoon there, and we went back to the paddock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we went up to the rooftop again.
No, the VIP grandstand over at I think it was turn.
Oh yeah, we had that first.
Yeah, was that turn
12?
10? 10 I think it was 10. Yeah, because after that really fast, where Gasly crashed.
You're right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Turn 10, 11, 12.
It's a hard braking down to probably third gear, second gear, something like that. And then it's just you clicking up through the gears, and then you're going into that really long kind of right-hander.
It goes uphill again. Then the chicane.
It's like the last sector. Chicken. It's a very quick chicken.
Hashtag Alonso.
Yeah.
We'll post that later. And what was really cool when we were there is that there was a fence in front of us, but we still saw a really good braking zone. And at that exact time, I think Bottas was doing a long run, and there was a racing point. It was Stroll and Leclerc who was following just behind, and I think that he was just following him to see how the car handles behind another car, and that was really cool to see. A lot of the times he got really deep inside, and honestly,
it looked like he was trying to pass.
It looked like he was about to hit him.
Honestly, it looked like I thought he was going to crash, and I was like, dude, no, don't do that, man. But obviously, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I've got some amazing videos of that because I had my selfie stick and I had it fully extended and way over the fence, and I'm just filming these cars.
Oh, dude, so Ian had this selfie stick that got him amazing angles, and I
think I was the only one in the paddock with a selfie stick, dude.
And dude,
I didn't see anyone else there.
I used to get people, I used to not really be a big fan of that, but now I'm all about it, dude. You're gonna be the selfie stick guy on all our trips.
All right, man.
I fully support it.
All right, sounds good.
One of the only times they're allowed to be used.
Working when it needs to be working, which we're getting to. Being in the paddock and being a VIP F1 experience is a lot like a safari. You see a lot of drivers that that you idolize, that you see all over the place. You see a lot of what's that?
Where we went just pause. We went back then to the terrace before we were going to talk about the paddock and all the drivers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we went to the terrace first.
I don't know where you were going, but
went to the rooftop.
Went to the rooftop.
Okay, yeah.
And there's a Ferrari engine problem that we saw.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and then that's when the buff started going.
And we got Bottas here. Remember?
Oh yeah, okay. So after the grandstand, we went back to the paddock, and then we went up to the terrace, where we could see, just cars going by in the straight line.
Which is literally like right over the pits, but they have this like blue protective screen in case you drop your selfie stick or something.
Which is useless because there's a giant gap between the building and that. Yeah. I mean,
I figured this stuff will kind of stick there for a second, but I think even with rain as well, could you imagine the rain coming down?
Yeah, I personally think the only purpose of that blue thing was not to take photos or to deter you, because it was hard to shoot through it, but I just pulled through, like I pulled it with my left hand. I was actually hanging with my camera with no strap on it and shooting over the McLaren garage when they were pitting. Yeah. We'll be posting those photos later. Literally, I was trembling, and if my camera fell, it would have fallen into Norris's lap.
Just hit right in the nuts with the camera.
And then Alonso would have come back. Yes. I'm sorry, Lando. I don't wish that, but we also love Alonso.
So protect your nuts next time you're testing in Barcelona, just in case.
Because you got some crazy people out there doing the VIP experience.
You never know, man.
But that was really cool. So there was like a red flag, and Merck had...
Ferrari stopped on track, yeah.
So Ferrari stopped on track. And I remember we were like just chilling.
Is that the electronic problem?
Getting some sun. And like these French people on the side, they were like cheering like, yeah, Ferrari stopped. And I was like, all right, let's go check it out. We saw the smoke, but we didn't see the car.
Right. Yeah.
It was an engine that let go, I think.
Yeah. I think it was an electrical problem when I saw later online.
No, that was on Friday.
Oh,
that was the last day of testing that Vettel stopped on track. And they basically stopped the running. It was an electrical problem that would have taken too long for them to fix before getting the car back on track before the end of the day. And so I think on Thursday, the second to last day, I think he had an engine let go. Anyway, that's what testing's for.
Hey, dude, they put in some serious laps. But what I remember from that was that like we literally like posted at the end of the pit lane. And I had Bottas right in front of me because they probably mistimed the green flag. And Bottas was sitting there for about, I think, 2 to 3 minutes, which in F1 is huge amount of time.
Oh yeah, all that heat.
The mechanics have to come and like they put some...
Their fans or cooling fans that go in. The radiators.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And at one point we saw a car, I don't know if it was Friday or Thursday, but a car was like in the pit lane and it was stopped there. And... it was waiting for so long that I think I saw like the brake disc catch fire. Like I can't remember if it was the sun reflecting off the sidewall of the tire, because the tires are really, really shiny this year when they're not used, but the sidewalls are super shiny.
That was
the reflection of the sun.
That was the Ferrari, I think, when he did a practice start. And there was a lot of smoke. I didn't see the fire. There's a lot of smoke. And then after he did turn 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's where his engine blew. Oh shit! Okay, yeah that's right. Yeah. So there's two, like the brakes catching fire, like brakes on fire and the engine are probably not related, but I doubt it. Like F1 cars don't like to just chill there for
all that heat.
They need to be going fast.
That heat's not dissipating. That thing's gonna it's a ticking time bomb.
That was kind of like the end of our cars and testing. That was about that brought us up to like 6 p.m. So testing is like from 9 to 1. An hour lunch break, and then 2 to 6.
And then after that, we had to go back to the hospitality unit for a meet and greet with the driver. Meet and greet for the driver. Our favorite driver.
Oh, dude! Oh, totally. He's right. Yeah. So after that,
we came in. We had like a beer. They had some snacks.
We went back to the hospitality, right? Just to kind of be like, all right, this is it. Like they asked us to give the paddock passes back. Remember? And we gave them back. We had like those biscuits. And then so Renault had just signed Sergei Sorokin
the day before
as a third driver.
So at the end of the day of testing, at 6 o'clock, we went back to the hospitality room, and we had some drinks, some cookies and stuff, and we saw Sorokin, Sergei Sorokin. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Well, he came around. He was signing, what were those, like little postcards, I guess, with the Renault car on them.
Just like these promo cards.
Yeah, so that was our meet and greet with, he just got signed, right?
As a third driver. The day before.
Yeah.
He was so excited to be there, remember?
We'd seen him hanging around when we were in the garage watching the car go in and out. He was there. Completely ignored the fact that I didn't think there's a big group of people there. I mean, because, but you're the third driver, it's kind of not much for you to do. So, like, I would imagine that you probably would have been like, hey, guys, nothing. Guys, I mean, like, I don't think he has a soul. The guy's got like the 100-yard stare and like nothing bad's ever happened to him. Like, there's something going on in there.
Totally, dude. And you know what's funny is that like,
maybe it's just he's Russian. I don't know.
Carlota, God bless her, like she's great. She's walking around with Sergey, and she was going from table to table, and I felt that was kind of cheap cheap way of like flaunting Sergey around.
Yeah.
But I guess it's the only way to do it at that point. And, like, and they just went up to everyone and said, like, "Do you want a postcard?"
Yeah.
I almost
with
said
a
no.
signature? And then they said, "Do you want a photo?" And like some people, you could tell, some people were like, "Fine, I'll take the postcard," but like, "You want a photo?" Like, "No, I'm good."
It's just got this look, dude. Like the guy looked like he hated being there. Like he'd rather be eating dirt than like walking around and like having to like sign a card and like take a picture.
Yeah,
with
yeah. Someone had mentioned like, "Oh, you may be in the season, or you're gonna be here next year," and he was like, "Yeah, I don't even know how." He said
That's
something
what I
like
said
that.
to him. I
Dude,
said,
so
Yeah,
when he came up to us, we're the only ones who engaged with him because he was
yeah.
just saying,
before he even came up to us, though, I was joking. He was like, they're gonna ask me if I want a card. We say no. I know you're just the third driver, or it's just gonna be a dick and like, or maybe, and then we're gonna take a selfie and it's gonna be like a straight face, like I'm having the worst time of my life.
which
I did.
which we did. So like he came up to us, and everyone else didn't really give a shit, I think, about Sorokin.
Yeah.
But we, as he's an F1 driver.
an F1
man.
driver.
He was at Williams last year. I think it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And we engaged, and we actually were like trying to poke his interest.
Yeah.
We said,
talked about karting.
Yeah, there's a go-karting track,
face lit up.
out there, like, and as soon as we said, "Hey, man," actually, what I told him was like, "Listen, if you're like, since you're not driving the F1 car, why don't you come race go-karts with us at the track go-kart, and go-karts on us,
like,
sessions on us," and like his face just lit up, right?
But he was like, "There's go karts." I'm like, "You desperate to drive something, huh?" Like, oh man. But then when I asked him something, it was like, "So, are you pretty happy, with, being the third driver for Renault? That's pretty cool." He's just like, "Yeah." And he just kind of like, he like rolled his eyes, kind of looked to the left. He's like, "Yeah."
It just seemed like everything was surreal for him as well. Like he didn't expect to be there.
Yeah.
And every single question.
It's like his first day on the job, dude.
His answer was yeah.
Yeah. No, there was, with someone like him, I guess you don't ask yes or no questions if you want a response. It's more like, how do you feel about being the test driver for Renault?
Right.
He'd probably just say, yeah.
Fair. I think I could
So
definitely see that
we took a
happening.
selfie with him, and Remy and Pouchon have a big smile on their face, and I'm just looking dead-eyed into the camera with them.
I wish you told me you were doing that.
And then we inverted because the next
I
time,
did, yes.
the next one I did do that, and everyone else was smiling. But that was like, so that was the end of our paddock access theoretically. So we had to give back like that one badge, and we decided to go up just to walk around. They were doing some interviews there, and we ran into Pietro Fittipaldi.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Nicest guy.
Yeah.
Really one of the sweetest drivers we met. He was so cool. We asked him, Remy, you asked him a lot of questions about like how the car was handling and how it was the follow. Like, tell us more about that.
Yeah, I think I was asking between like F2. I didn't even realize he wasn't in F2, but he talked about it.
You actually didn't even care about anything. But like, how does it feel to drive an F1 car?
Yeah, because you don't get to ask anyone but drivers, and those other drivers are kind of just like hi, bye, and don't even pay anything.
And Sorokin just answers, we didn't want to even talk to Sorokin. But anyway,
Pietro gave us the time of day for sure.
He definitely, we spent a good 15 minutes maybe talking with him.
Yeah, Pietro, if you're out there and listening to this, awesome. You're the man, and I want to see you in F1 like next years.
Yeah, dude, Haas.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get on with Haas hopefully.
And so he was telling us that it was getting a bit easier to follow, but like it's too early to say.
Yeah.
He also says the same thing. We're like Ferrari, Mercury's like, it's still testing, but it looks like Ferrari's got him. I think the general consensus in the paddock is that Ferrari has brought it this year. They've put together a car that might be capable of winning the world championship. So we'll see how accurate that is.
And he was a great guy. That's that's the most important thing for us. And we thought this was going to be the end of our day there. We're like, because we tried to go back to the paddock, and one of the gates, you have these stairs from the terrace to the paddock, and we were refused because we didn't have that access pass that the hospitality took away from us. And so we were at this point. Remy said, we're just all saying we're done, but Ian and I, being the pushers that we are, we said, let's just basically go on to the next stairs and just walk as fast as you can, as if you own the place.
Big dick energy.
I kind of just,
That's what it's about, man.
You just walk in as if you own the place, and the guy didn't even look at us, and we made it. And when
the guy barely noticed us. We just walked in with shoulders back, head up, just kind of like, we're the big swinging dick in the room. Yeah. And the guy didn't even look at us. He's just like, yeah, you guys belong here.
And who did we walk straight into? We walked in straight into Pierre Gasly's interview.
That's right. Yeah,
And you had your selfie. You had your selfie stick over like Formula One TV, Canada Breeze from France, all like Fox Sports, all with their big cameras, and your selfie stick's going over everyone.
Yep, I had the reach. I had Pierre Gasly. He had a tough day that day, so everyone wanted to hear what he had to say. Also, we met Will Buxton.
Oh, dude, of course.
We met Will Buxton. So what was really cool is that I saw him in the paddock the night before, or 2 nights before. I posted on Reddit just a quick blurb that my buddies and I are doing testing, and I tagged Will in the post, and almost immediately he responded to it saying, "Hey man, if you find me, come say hi." And I was like, "Wow, like that's amazing!"
Really cool.
Like, immediately within minutes, and I was like, "Wow, that is so cool!" Like Will Buxton saw my post, and like, so I saw him like earlier in the day when we were just casually going through the paddock from one place to another, and I was like, "Will Buxton," he's all like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "I'm the guy from Reddit that tagged you the other day." He's like, "Oh, you're the Reddit guy." I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "I'm not going to stab you." But, he'd just finished having a conversation with someone he works with. And, he's saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm super busy. Like I have like 3 different interviews that I got to be at right now." And he took like seriously like a minute to talk to us. Actually, even though he was super pressed for time.
I think we talked to like 6 to 8 minutes with him. Yeah.
No. This is the first time when we saw him.
The first time. Yeah.
He was really pressed for time, but he stopped what he was doing entirely and he talked to us for a minute. And then, up to one point where he says, "Guys, I have to go. I have some stuff I got to do." And so he's, I'm like, "Dude, like we'll catch up later." Like he's like, "Come find me." And we did. Later on in the day, we came up to him and we had he gave us the time of day. And in the F1 paddock, everything is so exclusive. Everyone's so busy. Even when we paid, €900, to even maybe meet some of the drivers, we didn't get to meet Danny Rick officially. We didn't, we officially got a photo with Hulk. We officially met Sergey, but that was a whole lot of fun. But, in such a privileged and an exclusive club that you're in, someone stopping and having a real conversation with you, like Giorgio Piola, and like and Will Buxton, it's really, really nice. It makes you feel really, really special. So Will, thank you so much for your time, because I know 5 minutes for you, it's quite a lot, and 5 minutes that you gave to us really meant a lot to us. And it's a highlight of our trip.
And he was super genuine, and he just seemed like a really, really good guy.
Yeah.
So it's nice. That's awesome to see. Him and Pietro were amazing.
And Alex Albon.
But wait, before we get to that, we forgot we met Ted motherfucking
Kravitz.
He was out of his notebook. And we were so pissed because like for the last few days we had thought that Sky had sacked him. Mm-hmm. And because we're in France and we have F1 TV. Sorry, Remy. But Ian and I have that for like onboards, like a backup, because we want the Sky feed with like, the analysis with Anthony Davidson, Paul di Resta, we love those guys. And Ted Kravitz's notebook is like the highlight, for us, like, F1 on Sundays, like the pre-race, the race, the analysis, Ted's
F1
notebook.
F1 is my religion.
Until basically the Sky goes back to like football or something, we're there. There were rumors going around that Ted Kravitz wasn't going to be there anymore. But earlier on our last time in the pits, I looked over to my right and I was like, "Dude, there's Ted Kravitz." So we were being like super loud, and be like, "Yo, Ted, what's up? You're back. We're so happy you're back."
And he was like, "Calm down, guys."
And he's like, "Hey guys, I never left." But
he didn't say calm down. He just looked at us because I never left.
I never left. But we said it again, and then he goes, "Well." So there. I mean, I'm not trying to start anything, but it was a joke. But anyway, Ted Kravitz, we're so glad that you're here, and that's also a huge thing. Will Buxton and Ted Kravitz.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, we absolutely love you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys have both made F1 so fun to watch.
After sneaking back into the pits, we ended up.
We wandered around.
We were just wandering around.
The sun was starting to set. We started to see a lot of drivers kind of make their way from the garage to the motorhome, for meeting, and then up to the point where they were done with their meeting and they go to dinner. So there's a lot of people running around, and
I think they were still debriefing, right? Because it was like it was becoming dark at that point, and we saw like Team LH. They all had like the hard hat, different color Hamilton hats.
Oh, there's a girl with the hair dyed the same color as the Petronas blue.
Oh yeah,
I remember her.
Yeah.
And so basically, we went there, right? And that's how we at that point we thought we were gonna go home, and we met this hardcore fan, Pam from the UK.
Hey, Pam.
Who was, what up, Pam? Who was actually there waiting for Hamilton, right?
Yep.
And what's funny is that we'd seen Hamilton twice already today. We saw him the first thing in the morning, and you and I we saw him going from the Merc garage to one of their satellite trucks there, and we were just at that point. I don't even think we wanted to wait for him, but we started talking to Pam, and we talked to her so much, and I felt bad because I think we distracted her because all Team LH left all of a sudden. They were like, where those people go? So we just kind of made our way between the garages, and we just posted there. I put my bag down, right? I put my bag down. It's getting so heavy, and at this point, we were pretty tired. It's been a long day.
We were walking everywhere.
Really long day. And it just seemed like there was nothing happening anymore. In our mind, I thought that Lewis Hamilton had gone home and was already out of the circuit. We missed him. And all of a sudden, something pops out and he's literally 6 feet away from me walking. He looks pretty tiny. He was wearing a beanie. He's small in height, but he buffed up a lot. And I just go holy shit, guys, there's Lewis Hamilton. And everyone follows him. I was the first one. I was the first one to see him and also the closest one. But then everyone else overtook me to go get selfies, right? Yeah. And so I was gearing up my selfie and I was like, Ian, you got to get no, you came in, you're like, I got this, bro. I got this. And I was like, dude, this guy's confident. He's got his selfie stick game up to a pretty good level.
My phone was on. My phone was on, facing the right way. Everything was set to go.
Everything was going well.
And then, Pouchon and I were on either side of Hamilton. And I have this selfie stick. I'm standing next to him and
on the right. Yeah.
On the right, yeah.
I'm on the left.
Yeah, I'm on the right. He's on the left. Hamilton's in the middle of us. And and he's looking right at the camera. And I pushed the button to take the selfie. The selfie stick was off. It was not connected to Bluetooth to my phone as it was working all day. I think I turned it off because battery was running out or something, and it was off. So then I fumbled to try and manually hit the picture button on my phone. At which point we're walking. We've only walked maybe 5 meters between motorhomes. And,
which is huge.
Yeah, we're fending off other people trying to get in our shot, and I didn't hit the button to take the photo. I hit the button to go to my camera roll, and then as soon as that happened, Hamilton was already at the entrance of the motorhome, and he was just walking up, and he was gone.
By this time, Pam had taken a photo. I think I jumped on one of hers.
Yeah, I let Pam go in front of us. I was let her go first.
She's been here a long time.
And but I should have just gotten it. I thought you had it, and honestly, at that point, I wasn't pissed. I was just sad.
Oh no, no,
I was so sad.
Oh no. Pouchon just put his head in his hands, and he just kind of he went oh. And I was I put my hand on his shoulder. I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. And. What you need to know about Pouchon is he is a Hamilton fan. Anyways, Pouchon's got his head in his hands and he's going, oh my God. And I'm saying, I'm so sorry, And then, we just had this amazing day at the F1 track with this paddock experience and all these things. And the mood just got really, really dark for a second.
Things took a turn.
Things took a turn. That was a real low point. And then, it's
in our day, in our friendship.
It really did feel like the whole day was ruined because of that. For me, anyways.
But also, we were so tired that everything was accentuated. It was just such a low,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But anyway.
I started laughing. I was it was funny. It was still we saw the humor in it.
Oh, yeah.
Remy made it into Pam's selfie, though.
Yeah. Remy's got a shot with Hamilton. So, anyways, I think that's what it said. That's what you get for giving me so much shit for liking Vettel or Ferrari.
All right. Officially.
Yeah.
I'll take back the fact you're a Vettel fan. If you tell me I'm not a Team LH.
You're not Team LH. Okay. All right. We're shaking hands, just so you know. Peace has been made.
We still talk even after this incident.
Yeah. I think I was saying it before, but being in the paddock is a lot like being on a safari. You're looking for things in the wild, between all the uniformed employees. You're looking for that one person that's just a little bit smaller, because they're the driver. And also you could spot it by a lot of people kind of circling around them and taking pictures. And so that's also how we ended up getting a shot with our next upcoming driver, Alexander Albon.
Yeah.
We saw him walking down, but actually,
I don't even know if
I noticed.
Because he's taller. That's how we saw him.
Well, he was taller, but also, he's really skinny, and I think he was racing. He was in
his racing overalls.
He has overalls on, and they were just hanging down by his waist, and he's just walking alone. So we went up to him, like, "Hey, dude, you have a good day?" And he's like, "Yeah." I did have a good day.
He's a cool guy.
And the guy
He's a cool
spoke to us for a few minutes, for like about a minute, And they were like, "Do you mind if we get a picture?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, no problem." So I think he's pretty stoked that we, want to take a picture with him and stuff.
I think at that point we were kind of over the whole selfie thing. We were laughing about it, and we were heading out pretty much.
Yeah, we were heading out.
But we had seen those those paddock groupies in the morning, right?
There were some Italian girls that were
A
there.
group of girls that had gotten
them
some kind of paddock pass, which allowed them to be in the paddock, but not in the hospitality. I think because I didn't see them in the Renault. They weren't with us.
No,
they were waiting. They were waiting right by the Renault garage.
Yep.
So we're like, all right.
They were more for Ferrari.
But they
No, well, we knew something was up because they were always waiting for something.
They were waiting for
right,
the driver.
yeah. They were all for Ferrari. We saw them hanging out by the Ferrari motorhome all friggin' day.
Yeah.
And then it was tonight that they were hanging.
They were always in the paddock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I wouldn't leave if we got paddock passes. We're not part of it experiencing like that. But you got paddock passes, be hanging out, just taking in the action. But yeah, they were all grouped up and they were waiting in front of the Renault motorhome. And we're like, is this going to be Hulk or Sirotkin? Or is this the big one? The one that we've been looking forward to meeting this entire time. Like leading up to this, we're like, we're gonna be best friends with Daniel Ricciardo.
That was the goal.
That was the goal.
And he came out of nowhere, and we're like, holy shit. And once again, it was every man for themselves.
You guys went running.
Ian and I went running. We got our selfies, in which Ian, once again, fair enough, everyone for himself. I wasn't in your photo, but I had to get a photo of me taking a selfie with you, getting a selfie with Danny Rick. Imagine Remy, like an NBA player, playing defense, boxing someone out. That's what you were doing.
It's do or die, guys.
I see that. We gotta play on that team cohesion.
Yeah. I don't know.
We gotta push those groupies out first. And
exactly. Just push them on the ground, and see how anyone reacts to that. But
dude, we
met him. I gave him a high five. The slide in pounds, and I said, kick some ass this year. You're gonna do well. And then that's when we popped the question to him.
We popped the question.
It's like proposing or something like that, really.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we didn't know what to write on that banner.
We were still kind of debating, do we really want to write break later or something stupid on a banner?
I wanted to. I'll just put that out there.
Suck up.
Yeah.
or were we looking for some kind of
meme?
We weren't entirely certain yet. So at that point, I told Danny, I was like, hey, dude, we're going to make a big-ass banner tomorrow, but we need something to write on it. And so what do you got for us? And he's kind of turns around and looks at me and goes,
He said something first, and then he was like, "Oh, no, do this."
Yeah, he did say something else.
Yeah.
I forget what.
It
was kind of on the spot. He's like,
Hey.
I don't know, man, something I honestly don't
faster
remember.
is
But then he pauses and he looks back. He's like, big dick energy. And we were all high fiving each other. Like,
that's big dick energy.
We found it, and that's how we redeemed the day. After that low of the Hamilton. Just talking to Danny Rick was that was amazing. And after that, we didn't want to be in the paddock anymore. I was like, you cannot get higher than that.
No, we're ready, yeah.
So that was the end of day one of testing. And we went back home. Went back home.
Ate some paella.
Got some really good paella. I put all my footage on the hard drive. I had 3,000 clips and photos all together, which is insane. Which is I usually don't go through all my memory cards, and I was shooting so much because I was in high speed continuous shooting mode. And then the next day we were debating. We want to go 2 days to the track, right? So we're debating whether or not to get general admission, just park out in front of the pit lane. Because when you get general admission tickets, you can go to the big grandstand in front of the pits, which you actually see all the cars coming in, which is a really good
parts
spot.
of the track too.
Yeah,
you get to walk around the track, but still the catch fence is in your way. So you're not going to get as close as you would be if you could have access to that VIP grandstand at turn 10. That doesn't come with general admission.
So, but we debated. We kind of got a bit later. Remy, you put an ad on Craigslist to find graffiti artist.
Yeah. Someone responded.
Yeah,
we didn't.
It wasn't in the time. We weren't able to do it.
We barely had time to get our shit together, and we're like, "What tickets do we get?" And we didn't even know going to the track. We just went to the track and was like, "We'll figure out there." I think we were leaning towards grandstand at that point.
Yeah, we were leaning towards grandstand. Well, the idea was
grandstand or the pit walk or the paddock pass.
Exactly. Initially, there was two things we could have done. We could have had the grandstand general admission where we would get into the grandstand, we'd be able to hang our poster, or we pay for some VIP. It used to be called the Piso box. Now it's called the Montjuic or something like. I don't even know how to say it, but it's 268 euros, and you do not have access to the paddock. You do not have free access to the paddock. You know, you could take a guided tour, which is basically you have 30 minutes, and they kind of usher you through the paddock, and there's one person in the front leading you, and there's one person in the back kind of pushing you through. So it's not very pleasant because you're just kind of being cattled, you know, through the paddock.
Just feels like it's super rushed.
Yeah. Same thing. They also do a van tour of the service roads, but the van they use doesn't have any windows. It's all really, really dark, like tinted windows. So like photography is a big like, no, we can't do that.
If you're a photographer, honestly, you go there. It's like rolling a dice because we got lucky the first day, but we also got unlucky with the red flag, so we couldn't get any that many photos.
Yeah.
On the second day though, since we were the only ones doing that tour, the guy was really cool about it. Like at first he said everyone's in the back and like blue tinted windows, and I was actually like pissed. I was like, oh no, fuck this! Like why even go? You know,
Yeah.
let's just stay here and go back on the terrace, right?
Yeah.
But he ended up, you know,
Ian said something. He was
Ian
like, "Hey,
ended up saying we did this.
Yeah.
Like, we know
it's
the
like-
speech.
we know the
Yeah,
track."
He started talking. He's like, so I'm about to give you the history of the track, and Ian was like,
Listen,
Look,
dude,
man.
like we've done this already. We know all the parts of the track. We know like everything about this. We just want to watch the cars go through the corners because we haven't seen that much.
He seemed pretty relieved. He was like, "Cool, all
Yeah,
right."
the guy
in the
like
front.
the guy took a back seat, and at that point you were able to get in the front seat.
yeah. He's like, in that case, your colleague can go in the front.
Yeah,
Because he
and so-
knew that we were a team.
And then he gave us like the homie tour where he told us some like funny stuff about the track where like KK Rosberg got like trapped in a porta potty.
Yeah.
at the start of the race.
Yeah, and then who was some like in like turn 3, someone went off a crash. They got out of the car and went and took a shit or something
Vettel,
like that.
yeah.
Vettel did that. Yeah.
So we saw KK Rosberg's porta potty.
Yeah.
We saw Vettel's porta potty.
There's a third one. I forget what it was.
There's a
but
third one.
Yeah.
I don't
It might have
remember.
been something like Martin Brundle. I don't know.
Yeah.
Forget. But the guy was
I
cool.
don't know if it was turn 9 or something. No, turn 10.
But I forget.
Yeah.
But what was cool though is that no red flags this time.
Yeah.
And we were able to see the cars. Like we had like a little opening, and the driver was hilarious. I was in the front. The driver would like bring his seat back and like suck his gut in every time. And he's like, "Here you go." I was like, "Dude, you're good. Don't worry." Like, it's not happening.
Yeah.
And I would be able to like shoot through the window that was like not tinted.
Yeah.
And there was like the smallest gaps within the barriers, where you could just see the cars going like pretty much they're flat out in those spots.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where we saw turn 8, I think, leading up to 9. And it was that
9 was cool
saw
to
1
watch the
and
cars
2.
come out through there. I wanted to watch more of 9, but they're saying vamos because they're on a schedule.
Yeah, we kind of drove. It's like
Makes sense,
yeah.
yeah.
So the schedule's half an hour from start to finish. You got to be back at 5.
Yeah. So, but what else we do? We took advantage. We got
We went for the VIP ticket.
We went for the
That's what I
VIP
decided,
ticket.
Yeah.
Right, but in the morning we arrived at the track. We were a little bit later getting up because I mean it was a really really big day Thursday, the VIP thing, and honestly we're all really tired already, so we just wanted to sleep a bit more. So we were up by 8 o'clock.
Edit some photos too. I want to get some photos up and going.
Yeah, we were up by 8. We were out by 9.
Because the day before, what we didn't end up saying is that we kept crossing Giorgio Piola in the pits.
Yeah.
And I kept saying, oh, I want to see like if I can send him some photos. And then I just said, fuck it. I just went and I just like ran after him. I was like, dude, no, sir. Signore, I have photos of Gasly's Red Bull at turn 9 when he crashed, and we can kind of see the underfloor, and his eyes like just opened up. And I was like, oh, he's like, oh, cool. And I was pretty naive. I didn't know, like, I wasn't saying, like, should I sell them to you or what? I said, so I was like, can I, like, do you want to take a look at them? Like, he's like, yeah, here's my email. So in the morning, the next morning, I kind of wanted to edit some of the photos, but then I realized, oh man, I don't want to. It has to be nice. I got to take my time to do this. So yeah, we took our time, and we ended up leaving about, I think, like not that late. We ended up leaving at 10:30, I think.
Yeah, 10:30, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, that underside of the Red Bull, we told Will that we have some of those photos, and Will just stopped and goes, "You need to go to Ferrari or Mercedes right now and sell them those photos."
I'm not joking.
Find the highest bidder.
Yeah, and he was dead serious. He just says, "Go right now." And it's like, okay. And that's pretty much how we ended our conversation with Will Buxton, too. And we're like, see you around, man. And we kept, running into him, waving and saying hi. But yeah, so let's see. Okay, so we got out at 10:30. We had all the supplies for the banner with Big Dick Energy ready to go. We arrive at the track.
Wait, can we just rewind a bit? Because, like, it's a small world, and when we got to the train station, our taxi driver was there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then he recognized us from the previous day.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hola, chicos!" So we're like, "Hey, man, we're back. Like, let's go." And he's like, "Paddock today?" We're like, "Oh, no. Just the general."
Still, we're gonna go see some F1 cars, man.
Still super stoked. And anyway, yeah. So we get to the track, and what was funny is that he was speaking in Spanish, and this girl there at the track, I'm not sure if I should say this, but it's pretty funny. So the security girl, like leaving people in, was smoking a joint, and the guy in Spanish just like as soon as he rolls up, I don't know if you knew her, but he's like, "Hey, what are you doing smoking a joint here?" So at that point, we got out of the car, and we still hadn't bought our tickets, and we just unrolled the banner supplies in front of the barriers, right?
That's when they started yelling at us like, "Hey, you can't do that! No, don't put that here!" And we were like, "What?"
Yeah,
and
so you can smoke a joint there, but you can't like do your banner there.
Yeah, and there was a small, bunch of trees and forest behind us, so we just ended up going back there. And
we went to the forest. Yeah. We went to the bush and they laid out
50 feet away.
Yeah, and we just laid out this banner, and then I could tell people were kind of wondering what are they doing up there.
It looked a bit shady.
Yeah, it looked really shady, and so we kind of debated about a little while about how we should do it, but then at the end of the day, we made our banner. We wrote Big Dick Energy. Pushan fucked it up at the first time. He wrote Big Dick NRJ.
Yeah, like
because NLG in France is NLG. But
and it's a radio station, so it's like it's in my unconscious.
Yeah, it's a subconscious thing.
But in the end of the day, it would have looked terrible. NRG, like written out. I think that it was. So we just cut that shit out. We wrote my name on one of them, and we redid. We wrote a huge energy.
Yeah, we wrote Big Dick Energy, and it was still a big fucking banner.
It was huge. Yeah.
And so
and keep in mind that we are not artists at all. Like we've never used spray paint before. So there was a lot of bleeding. There's a lot of arguing, like unnecessary arguing, and like backseat driving, being like, "Yo, do this, do that." Like the person who wasn't, spraying, and you're like, "Dude, let me do the thing. It needs to be legible, and that's it. We're not here to make a fucking Mona Lisa of a Big Dick Energy."
Yeah, right.
But we do something, do it right.
Yeah, yeah.
We did it right, dude.
We did it right. It
worked. Yeah. So anyway, so we grabbed our sign. We also debated about general admission or the VIP thing, and we went with the VIP thing. So that was it. We went right in. Let's see. They confiscated our spray paint, and they said just leave it by the entrance if you want to maybe come pick it up later if it's still there. But that's it.
We had our second banner that we just kind of left.
Yeah, we just kind of left that there. We didn't have enough time, so we had to wait for the paint to dry. So also, pro tip for you guys out there, whoever want to make an F1 banner, get a canvas banner, because if it's plastic, you have to wait forever for it to dry, and then when you fold it up or roll it up, it's gonna peel off the paint. So canvas or some kind of bed sheet or something, just like something thick. That's what you want to go with. So with that being said, we folded up the banner like you would a bed sheet, and we made our way to the circuit. And the dude that was checking the bags and all that stuff, he was obligated to ask what is written on the banner. And so we told him Big Dick Energy.
He made us open it. He made us open
it. Yeah, he made us open it. At that point, we saw the paint was starting to peel, and we're like, fuck, it's going to be ruined. And he says, what does it say? Like, Big Dick Energy. And he kind of looked at his colleague, and he kind of looked at us, and he just goes, fuck it. And he's like,
because we said Danny Riggs. Yeah. He's like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah. So we got in.
Yeah.
Yep, and we brought some zip ties with us. Went straight up to the grandstand, and we posted it right next to the big Forza Michael Forever one, and
right in front of Renault's garage.
Yeah, and we hung out there. We had this conversation about how we don't want someone else to steal credit for us. It would really suck because we just got these VIP passes. We want to go into the paddock. We want to go to that little box. We want to enjoy all the stuff that they have to offer.
Like we can't stand behind the sign the whole day. Right?
Yeah, exactly. But we don't want to let someone else taking credit for us. And as we're having this discussion, these two girls are outside of the Renault garage, and they start waving at us. And they start we start waving back at them. And we're yelling. We're going Big Dick Energy.
We had our Renault hats on, all like kitted out.
Yep. So they took a photo of us, and then also someone from the team came out and took a photo of us.
And they sent it to my Instagram.
Yeah, because we had Pushan's Instagram tag at
right next
Pushan photo.
Right next to
it. Yeah. So they Instagrammed Pushan with a picture. And then a team member came out and they took a picture on their iPhone.
He was loving it. He was cracking up too.
Yeah, and then one of the F1 official photographers took a picture, I think, or we got his attention.
Renault's photographer or Sorokin's photographer.
Yeah,
I forget his name, but yeah, he definitely took a photo of us, or he was cracking up and loving it.
Oh yeah, and so yeah, and at that point, we saw the cars going down. We're like, okay, well, it's getting towards lunchtime, kind of hungry. Like, let's go enjoy, what we just paid for. So we go to this box, and it was okay. I mean, we found out that we don't have access at all to the paddock except for that guided tour, quote unquote.
Horrible horrible guided.
But actually, we almost didn't make that. They said we have 3 spots in the last one, so we were also thinking
you had to like book it, I guess.
Yeah, you had to book it. So we booked it. We came in late,
Yeah, so like that package for like 270 euros worked out for us really well because we wanted to go to the grandstand and then go in and like try to see if we can meet a driver later. But I'm not sure if like you do that as your like. I would definitely dish out to go for like a team experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say over the 2, go for the team experience because you get all day access to the paddock. Like if you don't want to do the tour, I don't know why you wouldn't, or maybe like the service tour. Like you don't feel like you want to do it, you just hang out in the paddock. And when the day is over, I mean, no one's kicking you out until probably about 8:30. So yeah. But anyway, so, they had some nice food at this paddock box. They had, drinks, Coca-Cola, beer, wine, whatever you wanted. But we didn't stick around much there. We watched, what was cool about it.
We had some veggie noodles.
Some veggie noodles. And they had these really nice little, like veal salt and boca. It was really nice. But what was really the best part about it is that they had a balcony that was just below the rooftop of the pit building. So you were literally right above the cars. I mean, like maybe 2 meters above them. And there's nothing obstructing your view. So you could take all kinds of great photos, all kinds of great videos, all these cars coming in and out of the garage, coming through the pit lane, doing these burnouts. And I mean, you're like right there. And I mean, when drivers would come out of the garage, you could yell their name, they'd look up. The team bosses, we saw Gunther Steiner.
Yeah.
Gunther Steiner. We saw K-Mag walking out in the end. And honestly, like that, I thought it was pretty dangerous.
Albin.
It's pretty dangerous because like I was eating, like they gave us like the noodles in the
the Chinese takeout box.
And I was literally leaning over and eating my chopsticks. And like I'm not the most proficient chopstick eater, so I was like, oh man, if I drop these noodles, I'm gonna drop it like on someone's helmet or something.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, like I remember thinking the same thing. I was like, we were right above Haas. Yeah, it's like I had some noodles and like the car's like right there. I'm like, oh shit, dude. Like it came back to be like, what are you getting Chinese food on me for, man?
Oh, you would have been pissed.
Oh yeah. So we were kind of desperate. Like we really wanted to get in the paddock too.
But that was actually okay. So that terrace alone makes up for like all the other like appointments you need to take for the 30-minute window for the car, which you don't have a window, which actually can't shoot in, or the 30-minute paddock tour, which is complete bullshit. But that terrace though, was worth it.
It was a great place to watch the cars go by, because you're lower, but you're also elevated, so you can see the cars go down the straight, and you can see the cars coming, through the pit lane. So
and towards the end of the day, we saw like everyone was doing pit stop. I remember like the Renault garage was doing Ferrari, Renault, and Williams. Because the Williams had their testing run a bit short because they said some parts were tired. So that's not a good sign. But they were doing a lot of pit stops.
That's what testing's for, man.
Yeah. Well, remember what Kubica said? Well, we'll talk about that in their episode too, but Kubica was not happy with how the car was reacting in the end. But anyway, he's like, we did a lot of pit stop, and the pit stops were basically right in front of us.
Yeah.
That was awesome to see. Yeah. They put some tires, some cones out for Kubica as well. And I noticed that he hit one of, just clipped it. And he had to kind of, when he was leaving after the pit, he had to really turn his car.
And they were pretty good about it.
And like we were already like running pretty high in terms of like emotions, and like we were feeling good about ourselves. We were taking photos with our banner. We walked through the pits, right? And we pretty much we got to peek in like the Racing Point garage. We were taking photos with like the podium. We got a free Red Bull, and we were pointing at the banner, and the guy was loving it. Remember?
The dude was loving it. We got the guy's like, here, take some Red Bull, guys. Because we should a selfie with him.
We should also explain why Big Dig Energy, right?
Yeah, I forget which race this was, but there is a pretty well known clip out there that Redditor Bottas NWR. Put together, and also thanks for all the gifts and work that you do. It's amazing, and it's basically Danny Rick just sitting on the grid before the race. All the team's gone, and he's just there you go. Yeah, okay, he's on the grid pre-race. Tire warmers are on. Here we go.
Big Dick Energy.
Yeah, so he's sitting there in the car, and everyone's just kind of waiting for the signal to get the blankets off. He's putting his gloves on, and then you just hear him go, Big Dick Energy.
Why though?
So from like a racer
Why not, man?
perspective,
You're about to go into a fucking F1 race.
dude,
Why
we're
not?
getting
Yeah.
revved up, right? Listening to metal music and
Yeah.
Big Dick Energy.
Fuck yeah.
I thought it was. I thought it was all like after like a practice run he had done, and then he
No.
was saying how good the car was. Like, yeah, Big Dick Energy.
I mean, that you could say for that, I guess.
You,
But I mean,
you were saying it's probably like an inside joke he has with his team, right?
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm
it's
sure.
probably
I mean, you know, just like we have our own inside jokes,
Yeah.
right? When I was racing, I had my inside jokes that don't make any sense to anyone.
Right.
But Big Dick Energy is such a funny thing to hear.
Millions of people know.
Right.
Yeah,
And
right.
especially on the radio, now it's broadcasted, you know. But then when you look at what Big Dick Energy is, the meaning behind it is really cool. Like I said, it's that confidence of walking in like you own the place. So, you know, getting away with it and
But without actually being cocky about it.
without being cocky and without causing a problem, you know. I mean,
So
it's
which is a bit like contradictory because like, you know, when I saw the photos, I was like, oh man, what's my mom going to think about this?
I know,
You know? But it actually means like you're confident and humble at the same time, right?
Was it Wilson or was it Roosevelt? I think it was Roosevelt that said, "Speak softly and carry a big stick."
Maybe.
Yeah,
We'll
one
look it
of
up
the
later,
American
but-
presidents said, "Speak softly and carry a big stick." That's what Big Dick Energy is, right? So be humble about yourself, but know that you got the goods.
And when we were in the pit lane, we were able to take a beautiful selfie right in front of it, and everyone was looking at it. We were getting a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if it was in the pit lane walk or we were on a terrace, but you get a text message from your wife.
Yeah, my wife.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I got a text message from my wife, and I could probably read it out here. It's probably still pretty recent.
Because we had taken our photos with the banner for us for our records, you know, for to show our kids one day, and you know we didn't know it was going to make it to anything because some of the TV guys for Formula1.com, we were telling them, hey, look at our banner, and they were laughing at it, but I don't know if you can actually show that on
TV,
on an
live
official
TV
like
and
F1
stuff,
TV stream or
website
anything.
or anything like that.
Yeah, I got the text message from her at 4:55 in the afternoon saying, "You guys are on Ricardo's Insta story," and then she screenshot me the post, and it's the three of us
Just having
behind the poster wearing our Renault hats, so we got credit for the banner. But as soon as I read we're on Ricardo's Insta story, like, I turned around and I was like, guys, like, we made it. Like,
freaked out.
oh, it was awesome. But I kept going up to, we found Carlota in the paddock, and I was like, Carlota, we made that banner. You need to tell Danny Rick, or it needs some attention. Give it, like, you know, give it some love here.
And I'm pretty sure I pinpointed the exact person who has it because as I was shooting from the grandstand, I saw this guy in Renault's iPhone at that exact angle.
Yeah.
And he's the guy who ended up giving that photo to Danny Rick.
Oh yeah.
So, and we made it on his Instagram, and a lot of friends that like didn't even know we were there, or my buddy Ryan Knowles, who was supposed to come and didn't end up making it. He like fucking lost it when he saw that we made it to and like seeing us there. And the best part is we're in the photo with our three hats, and we're like we're not looking at the camera, we're like talking to each other, and we're there, and so no one else took credit for it. And that's that's the first victory.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's pretty much when we decided collectively to become Danny Rick.
Like
yeah, absolutely,
like, absolutely, like 100%. No.
Oh yeah, yeah. No. I always liked Danny Rick for sure, and like he's got a great personality. But like this really like drove me over the edge, you know. So if you ask me who my favorite driver is, I think it's definitely Danny Rick.
Oh, me too, 100%.
Yeah, the guy's awesome.
I'm still supporting Hulk.
Okay.
Why? We will cut that out. I want Hulk to do well as well,
but I want Danny Rick to beat him.
So we made it to his Instagram, and we said, you know what? We like F1. We love F1. We don't like it. We fucking love it.
Oh, yeah.
And we've been trying to figure a way to share our passion, and we decided, you know what, we're just gonna, we're gonna start talking shit about F1, talking about it, just very casually. Like, don't expect Ted's notebook like super technical. I might pretend to talk technically, but I have no background in it. These guys will bring up more of a racing perspective, which is cool. Mm-hmm. And generally, we're just gonna talk shit about everyone.
This is definitely not a politically correct.
No one is safe. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, no one's safe. Danny Rick, even you, buddy.
Even you.
We're big fans, but if you fuck up, we'll be talking about it.
And I'm sure there's going to be other people out there that are going to, support this Big Dick Energy in terms of banners and support the movement. So whoever does it, great for you. But always remember, we were fucking first. So that wraps up our first episode introducing BDE Official. So we are Big Dick Energy F1 Official.
We're going to have an Instagram. We're going to have a Reddit. We will have websites.
Just
just the standard stuff. Probably Twitter. So we can throw some
YouTube,
tweets.
even just
YouTube.
BDE F1 official.
This is probably how that's going to be on there, YouTube. Yeah. So we'll probably upload like some of the pictures we're talking about here.
So we will be posting a lot of our photos on Reddit to begin with. So you can definitely go check out the Reddit section.
Subreddit R Formula One.
Yes, definitely go check out reddit.com/r/Formula One and look out for BDE F1 official BDE F1 official username, and we'll be posting mobile videos. We'll be posting all our stupid selfies with drivers, the ones that Ian and I were racing for. I'll be
my head.
Maybe we should post your photobomb selfie with Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything, man.
And also, I'll be posting some of my photos I shot with my 2 professional cameras, and I'll be putting together a video this week before the craziness starts in Melbourne. So be sure to check that out on Reddit and check out our Instagram. It's at BDE F1 official. There'll probably be a picture of us and Danny Rick on there for now. So see you guys soon for the next podcast or video or whatever.
We've got 10 days until Melbourne.
Melbourne. So great city.
We'll be putting out another podcast of what we thought about preseason testing. It probably won't be as long as 2 hours.
So stay tuned for our episode 2, which will be us giving our unprofessional opinion on what we think is going to happen and all our predictions. So stay tuned and remember, big dick energy.
Big dick energy, boys. Big energy.